Howdy. Today is the 13th of January, 2024. And here's where I am. So it's been a week and a half since the second infusion on the 11th, on this 4th. And we're starting week 5 since we started the first infusion on the 14th of December. And just wanted to give a quick update about how things are going. And so the good news is I've been able to stay healthy and clean, living out of the van. The PICC line is healthy. I haven't had any real problems with that so far, thank goodness. That said, the last infusion on the 4th apparently was a slight overdose and of this oxaliplatin chemotherapy. I think what happened is that about 2 hours before the infusion, I was at the gym and I weighed myself at the scale was blinking between 178 and 179, and that was naked. And when I got to the infusion clinic, they weighed me with fully clothed, all my stuff in my pockets, my shoes and everything, and they weighed me at 185. So they use your weight and your height, your body height and everything to figure out how much chemo to give you. This time they gave me 260 milligrams. It probably should have been closer to 200, maybe 210, maybe 220 at the most. What ended up happening though is in the last half hour of the infusion, it's just like a 4-hour infusion cycle, I started to get a sense that I was getting too much. And how I knew was, I could barely keep my eyes open, and it wasn't because I was tired, it was because of my muscles, the eye muscles, the eyelid muscles were doing this. I could barely keep them open. My tongue, I started to lose the ability to articulate with my tongue. That's when I started asking questions about how much they'd given me and all this sort of stuff. And on top of that, I went into the infusion with fairly well hydrated, but by the end of it, I felt like the effects of being dehydrated. The muscle groups, thighs, calves, biceps and so forth, they were all going off like they were dehydrated, like they wanted to, give me a Charlie horse or something. And I knew that the best I could do is just to drive away from the hospital, park somewhere, and just get through the night the best I could. And sure enough, that I was able to get back out here to the PCH and park. And the next 24 hours were the most hellacious I've ever had through these treatments. it turns out that one of the side effects of this chemo is that you have this extreme sensitivity to cold, and it's winter, and cold air can cause, if you're breathing cold air, can cause you to this intense sneezing response that can result in burps, hiccups, and worst of all, it can cause this whole cycle of the muscles around your chest and heart and lungs to do this kind of contraction thing, and next thing you know, you're gasping for breath and screaming for your life. And this would happen like clockwork every friggin' 3 hours. And combined with diarrhea, I spent the next couple of days trying to rehydrate myself. I literally could not walk 20 feet away from the van because my muscles would start to act like they were going to give out. I lost motor control of my fingers on both hands. The good news is that this was not my first experience with this radical dehydration. Fortunately for me, a couple of years ago, I happened to overwork myself at Burning Man over a 36-hour period, to the point where every muscle group failed. And I thought I'd done permanent damage to myself, but luckily I went to sleep that night in agony, but I woke up in the morning and everything was back to normal, and I just rehydrated myself and I was fine. So I knew what it felt like. I knew what severe dehydration felt like and the effects of it and how to come back from it. If I didn't know that, man, I would have been seriously screwed. When I told the nurse this the other day, she was like, "Why didn't you come to the emergency room?" I was like, the last time I went to the emergency room at UCLA Harbor was during the last treatment round, the second treatment round from cancer. And I can't remember what it was I went there for, but they said it was a 27-hour wait. A 27-hour wait time in the emergency room. I told her that. I was like, this, and what were they going to do for me? The stuff is in me. The only way it's going to change is if I change it somehow, and the only way I can do that is to rehydrate myself, So that's what I did. Over the next couple of days, I rented a room at the Motel 6, the airport, and soaked for 4 hours twice, and so 8 hours overall over my whole time there. But and I rehydrated myself with these are I have a glass jar, 40-ounce glass jar that I use as my water jar, and I tried to drink 4 of those full of water a day, and then in the middle I would do the 2 middle ones during this rehydration process. The 2 middle ones were lemon juice and maple syrup. So I did about 80 ounces of that, and over 2 or 3 days, and it rehydrated me, thankfully, because something I'm like meditating on it, and something said you need glucose, right? So luckily I have all this emergency, so I was doing that, but something said, just my intuition told me, to do lemonade and maple syrup, and then to do lemonade and honey. And So I did that, and unfortunately that contributed to the diarrhea, but we got through it. We worked our way back through it, and so I'm here we are a little over a week afterwards, and I'm able to have a conversation. You can understand what I'm saying, after not being able to talk for several days. So yesterday, at the behest of the recommendation of the nurse that changed my dressing the other day, I got a hold of the oncologist, and I told him what had happened. And he confirmed that it sounds like I most likely got, just what I said. They got the weight wrong. I probably got too much of the stuff. I got a little overdose. And, lucky for me, I knew what to do and, work through it. But if I had gotten, maybe even 5 milligrams too much, 5 milligrams more, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now, basically. Because once they put that stuff in you, it's not like you can vacuum it out. You know what I mean? So I think it's water soluble. So the more water you intake, the you're going to weaken it, which is kind of what I've been trying to do. The upside of all of this is that I haven't had a bloody stool since the new infusion. That would lead me to believe that the lesion itself, that what was it, 4 centimeter, 1.5 inch lesion in the colon wall. I'm guessing that has somehow healed up enough. It's healed from at least bleeding, and that's progress. I'm going to call that progress. And I'd be willing to bet you that those lymph nodes have pretty much rolled over as well, because they weren't that big to begin with. There was only one of them that had a mass in it, and it was only, what was it? It was 1.3 centimeters, which is like a half an inch. And that's the smallest that I've had of all the, through all of this stuff. And it didn't take that much. After the first infusion of the first chemo, I had 3 egg-sized tumors right here, and I had an 1.5 inch long tumor in the back of my mouth. After the first infusion, that 1.5 inch tumor was gone. So it's a very good possibility that here we are into the second infusion, and we got more than we were supposed to get. So you can imagine how shocked the cancer cells are, which is the whole goal of this, is to weaken the cancer cells so they can come apart. The calculus of chemotherapy and most cancer therapies is that most of the traditional cancer therapies, not the immunotherapies, but is to shock the system so hard that that cells start to die and weaken, and the idea is that the healthy cells will come back. They come back quicker, and that the cancer cells aren't strong enough to come back, and that they die off. That's the theory. So that's what we're working. Anyway, looky. So this is one of the main reasons why I didn't get that apartment. I love spending the day out here, basking in the sun, and when I can, or as much as I can, because another side effect of this chemo is that you can't get too much solar exposure, because it makes you really susceptible to sunburns and infections and all that kind of stuff. But it sure is great to be like, I mean, look, the ocean is right there, you know? And I come here first thing in the morning, you know, when the sun's rising, and I'll park and just lay here and watch the water for a couple hours while I wait for it to warm up, because once again, I can't really experience cold right now, because it can cause some pretty severe challenges. So staying snug as a bug in a rug in my wonderful blue monastery on wheels here. So I've got here we are in week 5. I've got another 2 weeks to the next infusion. The next infusion, I think, is the 24th or 25th. And so when all this stuff started happening last weekend, I stopped taking the pills. I had to stop everything that I was doing so that I could, you know, literally start from scratch. Just start with the infusion drug and take it from there. I tried starting up the pills again on Monday or Tuesday. On Tuesday, I did full 7 pills, just to see if I could do it. And then the next morning, the nausea was off the chain. Just everything was saying, you gotta stop, just stop. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm poisoning myself. These are poisons, and this whole thing, you know, there's an oncologist a couple miles away that's kind of overseeing this whole thing, but the reality is I'm doing it to myself, you know, especially with the pills. Once they put it in me, it's me that's got to, like, process it. It would be wonderful if I could just sit back, relax, let the medicine do its work. That would be really wonderful. But in this situation, if I let the medicine do its work, I probably wouldn't even be able to talk to you right now. You know, this is something you have to be pretty active with. This, you have to keep it moving. Literally, like I have to move a certain amount in the day to keep things going overall. And you know, my calculus is quality of life throughout the whole experience, right? The medical professionals' calculus is just, you know, keeping me alive. I've got to make sure that when they're done, that I still have a quality of life. So that's why I'm, you know, kind of being so proactive. I've learned to be very, very proactive. I said something to somebody on the phone the other day that I think kind of covers everything, and that is, I've had 5 oncologists since, you know, 2019. And I will tell you, unfortunately, every one of them has made mistakes. And every one of those mistakes I've had to catch and correct And some of those mistakes have cost me. And some of those mistakes could have killed me. So, yeah, I'm a little proactive. I partner with these people. I feel very blessed to have, them as a resource. And I said that to this doctor yesterday. I was like, I need to pick your brain. I need to know, what should have happened, what should be happening, and I'm going to tell you what is happening. And what I think happened. And that's, when he confirmed that he thinks that, I told him everything. He's like, I think you may have, because of the weight, you're really sensitive. We need to really dial in your weight. Some people aren't as sensitive to these things. Yeah, well, anyway, so, couple things, right in the middle of all this, at the worst possible time of it all, the heaviest, deepest place, it just suddenly fucking dawned on me that this is not gonna end me. This is not gonna be my end. This part here, I'm gonna get through this, right? I'm not dying. This ain't it. I may be dying of something else, but this is not what I'm dying of. How do I know that? I don't know, but that's just what came to me, and I'm gonna go with that. Another cool thing that's been going on here is that in the workaround for dealing with that whole cycle of going from sneezing to screaming for my life in 2 minutes, every 3 hours during the first 24 hours of the infusion, I learned the value of humming to literally save my life. As soon as I would start to, when you get a sneeze and you can feel it up in here, you know it's coming. As soon as I would start to feel that, I would know that I'm having a response to the cold, that it's the cold response, and I would start humming. So when you hum, right? All this is vibrating. You're vibrating your neck. In the neck is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is connected to your whole nervous system. When you calm your vagus nerve, your whole system calms, right? Humming calms the vagus nerve. So, if I'm starting to feel like I'm going to sneeze, and I start humming, all the stuff starts to relax, and no sneeze. If I have the hiccups start coming, if I start burping, right? There's humming, end of burping, end of hiccups. So I don't know, what else. It occurred to me yesterday that there are people that maybe, have other kind of like seizure-like things happening, that maybe this would help them too, just humming. Or if you know somebody, I've been in situations where people have had grand mal seizures, and when they come out, they start, they're completely disoriented. I was with this veteran. He had traumatic brain injuries, and he had a plate in his head actually, and he was at a rainbow gathering out in the friggin' woods in the middle of the night, and he starts having these seizures. Like, he would have them like every 10 to 15 minutes, and he would go deep and completely forget everything that had just happened. And luckily we had a person that knew him, a good friend that knew him, and was able to, hold on to him and everything like that. In situations like that, when the person comes out, like this guy, when he came out, he would just start swinging because he had no idea where he was, and he was a veteran, and he'd been in situations where his life, he could just suddenly find himself in physical danger, and so he would literally come out, realize that he didn't know where he was, and just start, who are all these people with all the lights and everything, and he just started swinging, and we would start oming. We would just start oming as soon as it looked like he was starting to come out, and it totally would calm him down and calm us down, right? Because oming is humming, and humming is oming, So anyway, I see a value in it, and I just want to pass it on. So, all right, I'm gonna go do my little nausea protocol for the day, and the good news is my stools are heading in the right direction. They're getting more solid by the day, and like I said, there's no red. So that's a good thing, right? So got another almost 2 weeks till the next infusion, and then we're going to be doing another CT scan to see where we're at, and hopefully at that point they'll see in the CT scan that what cancer, right? And then there'll be no more excuse for having this friggin' PICC line in my arm, and I can get back to enjoying things a little more, right? Right. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for paying attention. Yeah. Oh, my weight is about, as of Thursday, was about 171, 172, around in there. And I think that a big part of that is because I had to fast last weekend for 48 hours. So at this weight, in this weight range, I've found that when I fast, I lose weight pretty quick. And so yeah, I lost 6 pounds last week. As I said to the doctor, the fact that at this stage of the game, 5 weeks in, I'm still in the 170s. I'm gonna call that a win, And the reason why I'm still in the 170s is because I have an appetite and I'm able to eat food. I said to him, the first go round, I went down below 150 pounds. So I've still got another 20 to go, more than 20 to go. And the fact that I'm able to eat this time, because the last time I wasn't able to eat at all, I think we're good. I think we're going to make it through this with flying colors, to tell you the truth. And one of the main reasons why I think that is because of how I've been able to recover in the past week from all of these different challenges. If I was not healthy, on a core level, I wouldn't be trending like this, in the positive. I wouldn't be able to have this conversation, at this point. So I'm feeling a whole lot. I'm feeling really good about where I'm at, And over the next 2 weeks, I'm only going to get better before this next infusion. So, okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. So thanks for watching. Thanks for paying attention. And remember, we love you.